I do like Junior Mints though.
I like Junior Mints. Reese's Pieces come in a box.
Yeah, those
sometimes.
things just like slide right down. Like
they do, man. They're
it's
smooth.
like 40. You eat like 40 at once in a handful, and then you're like, "What just happened?" I feel tired.
Yeah, you black out.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
Are you tired?
I'm pretty. Yeah, I'm tired. Haven't really.
Trevor was saying he's real angsty, and he wanted to
did not
bring it
say
up. He
that.
wanted to bring. I was like, "Let's keep it off the podcast."
man,
He's like, "Let's bring it up. Let's make it. Let's work this thing out live." You know, because there's no better place to deal with it than, you know.
I'm okay with not bring. All I can say is sometimes we have off days, but that's not something that I would let bring me down.
Right.
Ever. You know, I'm here with you. I'm happy to be here.
Right.
This is a bit of an escape for me.
Right, because inside you're not doing well.
No, inside I'm doing fine, man.
Is what you tell people, and then on the inside of that, you're doing horrible.
Yeah, right.
A lot of angst.
There's no angst there.
I think maybe it's just the Monday morning blues. That's what.
You could call it that. I had a great weekend, and maybe I'm sad it's over. I had
Right.
a really great weekend.
Right. And then there's always the next day.
It's always the next day. Then
And
there's
you're
next
like-
weekend, man.
Right. What's going on then? You got big plans?
This weekend, not quite, but next week. No, I think next weekend, I will be going. I'll be going to celebrate my dad's birthday, and he doesn't know it yet. So
A little bit of a surprise.
yeah, it's a surprise, and it's also like, hey man, I broke my phone a couple weeks ago. I need you to set this new one up with Verizon because I'm still on his phone plan.
Right.
Which I think is a good. That's the only thing he pays for. I think that's a good thing because if I can't pay my phone plan, I can't talk to my dad.
Right. And it's a kind of a good bonding experience. You guys go onto the website.
My dad said, if Trevor's ever calling me, I know something fucked up happened to his car.
Is that true? Have you had some bad experiences with your automobile?
Yeah, but like, unfortunately, I could be better about this, and I know my dad could too. I don't just call my dad just to talk to him, but I really should. As I think
Bit of
we
a cats in the cradle situation.
exactly. Yeah. Now,
I mean, hey, it happens.
I think my dad's at a point where he really wants to be like closer to me, but doesn't know how, or like feel
Right.
feels maybe weird about it, or feels like he's not doing enough. But he is. He's doing everything he can. I think he's doing a great job.
And he lives how far away from you?
2 hours.
2
2.5
hours.
hours. Yeah, I love my dad.
Right.
Yeah.
How old is your dad?
50-something.
50-something.
He'll be 50-something in a couple weeks.
Yeah, but not forever.
Yeah, that's true. He'll be 60 one day.
If
He'll
he
be
gets there.
60-something. I hope.
Time is a dangerous thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He did have some health issues at one point, so it was scary, but he's doing good. Enough about my dad.
Right. Let's talk about the father of us all, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Trevor was saying he's sort of taken a religious turn in his...
A religious turn.
because he's got all this angst and he doesn't know how to deal with it, so he was kind of trying to offload some of it to the Lord, and I was saying, hey, I don't know if that's really what he's for,
Well, I've told you that I was brought up Christian.
Right.
Yeah.
We've talked extensively about that on this podcast. Sometimes I've had a couple experiences where I see a real Amish-looking guy get out of a car. And I'm like, I always thought if you were going to give it up a little, you'd go all the way. You would stop wearing the hat and the suspenders.
You wouldn't be in a car.
And you wouldn't be in a car. And it's like, but who am I to call him out?
Yeah, it's not really your business.
No.
Oh, well. Yeah, I guess speaking of religion, Ethan, our guest today, he was telling me about a Christian ska band.
Oh.
I haven't forgot. He told me about it like one time, and I haven't forgot about it. But that was, I'm sure we can ask him about that.
And this is a ska band that's kind of Christian.
I guess, the revolution starts with you, my friend.
God rock, if you will.
Yeah, Christian rap is crazy too.
Right.
Yeah. Real, like, Christian hip-hop, that's...
Right.
Yeah. Christian, like, rock, it's almost like... it's funny how it's almost shoegazy in a way. It's like some sort of wave.
Yeah.
If you've listened to, like, modern Christian music or gone to some Methodist modern.
We got to open a
church.
mega church.
Why don't we go to a church for one episode?
And do what? What should we do?
Talk to them. Ask them about Jesus. Tell
Okay.
them we're curious.
Okay. Might come off a little rude, but I feel like
I mean, that hasn't stopped you, man.
right, and that's actually a good point by Trevor. And now that you're saying that, I think we should go full speed with this
Yeah, man.
episode in a church idea.
That'd be great, dude. Attending church and like filming it.
Right.
That would be nuts.
We got to start making some documentaries.
We need to. I think before we should make a document of documentary ideas.
Right. Okay. This is like
And then we can
pen
just
and
pick
paper,
and choose
right,
pen
yeah.
and paper. Yeah, classic.
right, old school. I think there's maybe a value to that.
There's value to that. There's value in Google Docs as well because you can share that.
You can share that easily.
Yeah, you don't have to write it down
Keyboard's
twice.
quick.
Yeah, keyboard's
No
quicker.
fatigue on the hand.
Nope. Right. You don't have to
And-
sharpen a pencil.
No, yeah, no waste of time. But it's
Exactly.
also maybe you lose a little magic. How far do we have to drive until it's warm?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Could you figure it out, please?
So once you get to like Arizona, New Mexico, that's like that. It's always.
say New Mexico?
Texas too is also freaking hot, man. Yeah, New Mexico.
I think maybe Tennessee,
It's probably warmer down there.
Probably
Florida's warm as hell. Yeah.
Georgia would be a nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's just go down there. Do some episodes down there.
That would be really fun. That would be really fun.
Again, it's a budget issue.
It's a budget. Everything's about the budget.
What is it? This is like we're getting into triple digits here, and no one's kind of.
Yeah.
And what else?
What else is there to do?
Nothing worth saying because I feel like we've said it all.
I wouldn't say that.
No, I'm saying in regards to the budget,
Oh yeah.
but.
Well, we don't have a Patreon up. But if we did, maybe we could save like every little nickel for gas.
Couple
to
nickels?
Georgia.
And then what? we gotta get the RV
Yeah, and the revenue stream, the revenue flow.
right.
Yeah. That's never I mean, I don't know if you've noticed this, but that's never really been a concern for me.
What?
Budget, you just kinda you go for broke, man.
Okay, well let's go for broke.
Let's go for broke.
What are we doing though? We
We're
gotta pull in somewhere.
We're gonna put everything into this.
Okay, so we get in a car,
Get in a car and go.
and when do we park the car? And if I could ask a follow-up question,
whenever we
where
gotta-
do we park it?
Whenever we gotta go to the bathroom. And then we just go from there.
I like this idea.
Yeah.
So how much time do we take off?
Of what?
To go out there and get this done.
A few days? 3 days maybe?
Okay, a nice little weekend.
It was a nice weekend, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. It'd be crazy if we traveled somewhere like far out, yeah, like that.
Right.
Yeah, that would be fun, man.
Then we could probably come up with a documentary about anything
We could come up with so many ideas on the way.
on the way.
Yeah, not even but we
That's a
don't
good idea. We just start going, and then we'll figure the thing
figure it
out
out on the way.
when we got the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people have done stupider things.
Right. How's your car holding up?
My car, yeah, but car's great. It's not going down there though.
Okay. Mine, I think, could work because mine's moving,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's nice that's the nice thing about cars is they can travel a far distance.
Mm-hmm. And you got that that plug. You can just plug it in the wall and charge it up.
Right.
That cord.
It takes about 20 hours.
That's insane.
Probably takes like 12, but
Still,
it's not that far off. Yeah.
for full charge.
Who's this guy coming in here?
Ethan Benton.
Ethan Benton.
Yeah, Ethan Benton. He's a good friend of mine. I met. I don't have the exact date. This is the cool thing about
Elephants.
that and me filming bands is because I always save the dates of when I filmed them, so I kind of know I can pinpoint the exact date of when I met my friends. But Ethan, I don't remember the exact date. It was sometime in January of 2023. I'm pulling up this photo we took of when we met. My friend Ben's a private it's in the thing.
Right. That's great.
My friend Ben is a private person, so I'm gonna have you like put like a Peter Griffin face over his face.
Peter Griffin. I might do like a what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do maybe I'll put Curious George right over his face.
He looks like Curious George in this photo, so that's really funny. It's fitting, man. But yeah, that's us. My buddy Ben, I was filming a show. My buddy Ben came back in because he was smoking outside, and he said, Trevor, you got to meet my new friend Ethan. And I said, okay, I'll meet your new friend Ethan. And it just kind of hit it off from there, I guess. He was very he's very funny. He was very charming and kind, and he's like the three of us, we're gonna jam, man. We never jammed.
Never jammed.
Probably never will.
You ever jelly?
Very very funny, man.
Thank you. Wordplay. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Ethan. He was like, he had this song called Asymmetrical that was really good, and he really needed a music video for it, and he hardly knew me, but he thought that I would be great at it. So I made a music video for him. Yeah.
It's beautiful how things like that work out. You stumble into someone, a new friend.
Yeah, totally. He's very kind, an amazing songwriter. He has a lot of good. I'm actually, yes, I will admit I had a bit of Monday blues, but I am really excited to see Ethan because he's a beam of light. I love him so much.
Yeah, Trevor was saying this is going to be the podcast. This is going to be the angst episode,
said
and I
that,
said,
man.
Let's not do that. Let's turn this thing up. Let's get the energy going. We got Ethan coming in just a minute. Trevor, any words? Anything left to say?
No, I'm just happy to be here, man.
I'm just so happy to be here, Trevor. This is great. What we got going on?
It's a good thing.
Right.
There's a song that's like, we got a good thing going or something. I don't remember how it goes, but it's like, we got a good thing
going.
Yeah, I wish I knew that song, but we got a good thing going. We feel the flow. It's going good, man.
Right. The oceans of the motion cause a commotion.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I feel like you just have nothing to close it out, I got to resort to poetry.
That's good, man.
Did you actually like it, or are you just saying that?
No, I do like it. I'm just trying to think of this one really poetic song about the ocean. It's called Ebb Tide. You know that song?
Lady, take me down to the riptide.
Oh, that's a good one too, man. That'll take you back, man.
Yeah, that'll take you back. Baseball practice, I remember that one.
It's like the last line of Ebb Tide is like, I'm like caught in the
web
the
of
storm of your arms.
Storm of your arms.
I don't know. It's a beautiful. Hold on.
We're caught in the storm of your arms, guys. We'll be right. What was that? What the fuck was that, Trevor?
You're gonna hear it, dude.
Jesus.
You're gonna hear it.
This is the kind of shit I gotta work with. We'll be right back. I mean, what was that?
The Acorn Archive.
You know, no pressure on this podcast, but this one, a lot of the donors are thinking about pulling out, and funding's been a real issue. So what I'm trying to get across is we really need this one to go well.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So no pressure.
No pressure?
But a little pressure.
Yeah, this is kind of all the marbles, you know?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Not to say we put all our eggs in a basket, because we didn't put them all, but Trevor put all our eggs in one basket, and that
like
basket, he kind of drove over with his car, you know?
It's more like all of my eggs.
Uh-huh.
Right. And what does that even mean? Is that a metaphor? Or was that some sort of harassing the guest?
No, it means
Eggs are probably being used as currency now because they're so...
No, it's true,
That's
man.
true, because they had to... they did a Holocaust and all the chickens. They were sick, I think.
Is that
I think that's the story. I think the chickens were sick. They killed them all.
I thought it was because of the tariffs.
It might be. But is it all Canadian chickens?
I don't know,
Were you talking to Michael?
Yeah. Sorry. We're just testing, right? Or have we begun?
No, this is the real thing. This is
Oh,
the real
okay.
deal.
Okay,
And
I was wondering.
again,
All right.
this is like no pressure, but this one has to go well.
Yeah. Okay. You're not asking me for money, right? That's not what this is. This
No,
isn't
no,
like
no,
an
no.
Elaborate like timeshare.
That'd be
situation.
hilarious. That'd be hilarious.
Okay. Yeah.
This is more of like
That's an interesting.
this is more of
premise
like we're offering you an opportunity
to give you money.
to. Well, I wouldn't say that.
Okay. But result in you having more money.
I think maybe let's circle back to this.
Okay. That's fine.
We're here with Ethan.
Hello. And Ruby.
Ruby's here too. She was out last episode, but she's back.
Mm.
Carved the time out of her schedule.
Uh-huh.
And actually, thank you for bringing that up because we didn't want to forget to thank her.
Yeah, totally.
Would you tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm from here, and I'm in a band called
Right.
Friends with Elephants.
Yeah.
And we've been going for about 5 years. Yeah, just working on putting out some new stuff right now. It's like indie rock stuff with a little like alt country mixed in sometimes.
Okay.
And yeah, my band members are awesome. Mike Stokes, David Jost, and Ross Kiernicki are the boys, and they're all delightful.
And do you record the stuff yourself?
We just finished an EP, 4 songs, which is barely an EP, but
That's an EP. Don't you fret. That's an
thank
EP.
you,
It's a lot of
thank
songs.
you. I'm selling myself short a little bit, but
That's 4 singles.
it was super expensive though. It took a lot longer than we anticipated. It sounds awesome, and I'm really happy with it. We recorded it at Relay Recording, but just I think due to our not being super prepared. I mean, it felt like we had all our ducks in a row, but then there were a couple ducks turned out that weren't
Like going into
falling
record it?
into yeah, exactly. So it just like took.
Now, what were those ducks?
Oh man, I tend to blame myself for things, which I'm trying to get away from in general. But in this situation, I think I need to figure out exactly how to express what I'm looking for, like speak the language of recording, as far as like how do you want the vocals to sound. That's the main one. That took a minute because I kind of didn't know exactly what I was going for. I think it's important to have like reference tracks in mind of like, I think the vocals should sound like this song, or like, the bass tones and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So just little things like that wound up taking a long time. And then there was a little like miscommunication in the like right at the end there when we were trying to wrap everything up, that I think, it was a learning experience for sure, but those are some important things to have prepared.
Did you record it in a studio?
Mm-hmm. Relay recording downtown.
I've done the stuff I'm doing now. I'm gonna mix it myself and just get it mastered. But what I've done before, the songs I've done already, is I mixed the whole thing and then I sent it to someone and had them mix it, and we would just communicate,
Mm-hmm.
online.
Yeah.
And it is a weird thing trying to describe the changes you want
Mm-hmm.
in very vague ways of like, I want it to sound a little softer and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
yeah,
I want it to sound
everything you do
like
counteracts
April,
something else.
or whatever. Yeah. I'm always like, I want it to sound like you're inside of a cardboard box or whatever,
Yeah.
Which actually, that's more specific. That would be a better one. I was more saying things like, I want it to sound like the concept of, forgiveness.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Right.
what does that mean?
Right.
And I'm like, you get it,
Yeah.
yeah.
What was the problems wrapping the project up?
We did have some setbacks that were just totally unforeseen, but that sort of thing you have to plan for,
Plan for the unforeseen.
Yes. It's a new twist.
That could be could be sort of like the ethos of this sort of message we put out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be like the theme of this episode, maybe.
Yeah, Trevor had a lot of angst earlier. He was kind of bringing the whole thing down.
And you can never know. Trevor's unpredictable.
Yeah,
So-
he does have his swings, his
Mhm.
moods.
Plan for the unforeseen there.
And did you get over that hump?
Yeah, and everything turned out really great, and I'm excited about it. I think we're still, it's only my second EP that I've released under Friends with Elephants, the moniker,
Yeah.
And since the first one, the band has grown and evolved a lot, and it's become more collaborative, and which is cool. Oh man, I lost my train of thought.
How many people do you guys have?
We have 4 total.
4, and that's
Mhm.
not. That's a little more than 3, but less than 5.
That's what I.
What is the
find
arrangement?
So I sing and play rhythm guitar. We have a lead guitar player, bass, and drums.
then a drums.
Mhm. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. We were gonna add a keyboard player at one point, and that didn't pan out exactly. So,
Right.
but yeah, I'm really happy with the lineup right now. It's Mike Stokes and David Jost, who are both in Wax Teeth,
Wax
which
Teeth.
is like a post-hardcore instrumental band, and I think that's an accurate description.
Now,
but
what
they're
does the
fantastic.
post abbreviation really mean?
After.
I know that.
I thought it was like a fence post.
Right, because
No, I didn't really think that.
everything is a building block for something.
Yeah, right. That's
One
a good way to
thought
look at
might
it.
build, sort of, it might influence your day,
Mhm.
and then that builds into a whole day, and now you have a theme for the day just based off one thought.
Mhm.
Is that a healthy way to go into things? Do you find the best way to create is sort of impulsively?
Not necessarily.
No, more methodically.
Well, it depends. I've had things that came together pretty quickly, whereas usually, I mean, traditionally my process is more of a long game, because I come up with like little song ideas a lot, but I think like if I'm too invested in it, or I like feel like it could be something really really great, then it's really hard to like finish it or put lyrics to it,
Yeah.
because I'm worried that I'm gonna ruin a cool idea and it
Yeah.
won't be like as cool as it could be, you know.
Yeah.
So, and there have been examples of that where like some of my favorite songs I've written, like I had most of the music written, or all of it even, for years, and then one day just was off work and came back to it and was able to, you know, get it done. And it just,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes it's great when that happens, because you finally can like, you know, cross that one off the list. But there's other times that like things are more spontaneous, and I think you get a different result, and there's merit to both. I think it's good to, you know, try different things creatively.
Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of obvious, but I like the beginning of making something, like the initial burst of it.
Mm.
That's like so fun. I could just do that all day and just
Right.
make a bunch of little different starts of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's nice is doing the final, okay, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And the song's done.
Oh yeah, there's nothing like
In between
finishing
that,
a
though-
song that you're happy with.
In between that, though, sucks because it doesn't even exist really as a song yet. So you're like, this might not even be a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's like it's really hard to be objective too about an idea. Like sometimes I'll spend an hour and a half like working on something, and
Yeah.
then like get a little recording of it, and then come back to it and listen like the next day, and I'm like, this is the worst thing I've
Yeah,
ever
I'll
written.
undo everything I just did.
Yeah, which
it'll
is
take
so-
just as much time. And it's like,
Yeah, it's kind of unsettling how differently you can feel about the same thing.
yeah,
Like, you know, it kind of is.
yeah. I never liked that about working on music. Is that I feel like I'm just doing different stuff that counteracts each other,
Mhm.
and depending on how I feel that day. Whereas, like, if I'm editing a video, it's pretty cut and dry. It's like
Right.
it just keeps, you know,
Mhm.
the video's either done or it's not done.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could feel the same way with a song, where it's just like, that's why I want to, you know, I admire like the studio process of just like, you know, you go in for a day and you record the parts and it's like, all right, that's a song.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never done it that way. I've always just kind of made stuff over a long time.
Mm-hmm. I think that can be, like, I really think that might be the way to do it. I read this article that said Paul McCartney was saying that he never takes longer than like an hour or two on a song, and which, you know, I think the idea is that like you get to a point where you're really confident in what you're doing, and then I think that results in it being more higher quality.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Too, and then if you can get into that zone, like,
Yeah.
and develop that process, then I think that's probably the best way. You know,
It's also the coolest way to like orient yourself to the work is like, because then it's just like, I'm a professional musician and I can do the work like of like, you know, if I have some time, I
Mhm.
can make the thing.
Yeah, right. Instead of like being
that's it, yeah.
superstitious about it and being like, oh well, it's Thursday and
Right.
I never
I'm
finish a song
working
on a
on it,
Thursday,
yeah.
or like you wait for the muses to strike,
Yeah,
or whatever.
Right.
Hmm. But I think there's merit to both ways. I think it can be more special when it feels sort of, intangible like that. When you're like, I don't know when I'm gonna feel that creative spark again.
Yeah.
And so when it does happen, it's like, like you've been wandering in the desert and you finally get a cup of water.
Yeah, it's that thing where you still gotta, you still gotta show up every day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
For when it does strike, you gotta be
Mhm.
sitting there waiting.
Oh yeah, gotta be
For
ready.
Thing.
fishing.
Right.
Yeah.
And this kind of works for like if you're gambling. I think the statistics show if you kind of wait it out, you stay in there.
Mm-hmm.
You could double and maybe even double that.
Mm. Is that what statistics show?
I was looking. Trevor was bringing up some statistics.
Oh, okay.
Again, we're having all sorts of problems with him, and he was saying this is like a angsty podcast for him. But
Are you like the information guy? Can we be like, oh, what's the name of that
yeah,
thing?
he'll pull
Can
stuff
you
up.
look it up? Oh,
It
cool.
takes
That's
him
cool.
like it'll be like 15 minutes, but he'll get back to us.
That's cool. I love that.
It's true.
Uh-huh.
But nobody's actually told me to pull stuff up, probably because it takes like 15 minutes.
Right,
Mhm.
and he never gets back to us.
Yeah.
There is something to
Well,
say
if it's
about
like- Yeah.
you got to show up each day to the thing,
Mm-hmm.
and there's that book, The War of Art. You ever read that?
Yes, dude. I was just gonna say the
Love
same damn
that
thing.
book.
The Professional. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
you got to show up, and then the resistance always going to be there,
Oh yeah.
and it's if you can separate yourself from that feeling,
Mhm.
then and you just know it's going to be there all the time, then you're not surprised when it is, and you just getting through that becomes the work every day.
Yeah. Right. So you show up, sit down at your
Yeah.
station at 9 o'clock or whatever. Treat it like a work day.
Yeah.
Take a lunch break or whatever. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do it. Which, I definitely hope to get to that point, but I'm still developing. Like, I have a hard time having structure in my life in general. You
Right,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
And sometimes, like, because I work events, I work at Rambling House, and I work for Celebrity, etc. And sometimes I'll do Door at the Summit too. But I don't generally work events.
Yeah.
So that can be, hard to structure your life around,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool as a creative. Like, I enjoy having this period of my life to be able to just kind of float through and, like, I sit down at the piano or pick up my guitar, like, pretty regularly. And so I think I'm generally, like, ready to, or I put myself in the position to, like, take advantage of when,
Yeah.
creativity strikes and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely do think that the best approach is, because I read that book too, and yeah, I was like, it was great, and so yeah, I definitely believe in that.
Well, yeah, it was the
approach, too.
first, like, when I read it, at the time when I read it, it was just like the first healthy relationship to the work I had imagined. It's like, well, that's a nice way to think about it.
Mhm.
At least of like, well, it's not just I suck, I can't make the thing. It's like that's how you're gonna feel.
Yeah, it's
They-
about how you're going about it or whatever,
Yeah.
and you're gonna get a different result. So
But also, yeah, it is tough to have a routine, especially when you're not really, what do you? It's one thing if you were trying to write a book, like he's talking about, sorta,
yeah,
in the book.
mm-hmm.
Because then you're writing a story, so if the story's done, then you're like, okay, that's
Mhm.
the thing. When you're just vaguely trying to do something that's gonna help your life,
Mhm.
it's like, well, what do I even put the time into?
Mm.
And also, like, how are you gonna sit down at the desk if you don't have like a comfy chair? Like, my chair is not that comfortable, so it's like how I'm just, even if I do show up, I have to sit in that chair.
In that shitty chair.
Yeah.
Can I swear on this, by the way?
You can swear on this. This
okay.
is
as much as I want. Oh,
the first few
fuck yeah.
episodes were this is kind of a children's program, but we've moved away from that.
Oh,
completely.
okay. That was a wise move, I think.
Yeah, it was done a
It's
180.
just every episode's about the Wiggles.
Right. We're doing
Yeah.
a couple Wiggles episodes. Those are unlisted now, but it
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
was Trevor's idea. But.
yeah, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't have anywhere to go with that. I just jumped into a segue that I did not have prepared. I apologize.
Rambling House. I like the Rambling House.
Oh yeah, it's great. I
Great
just
little
started working
place.
there like a few months ago. And yeah, I do door, and I get to see all these cool bands. Just the other night, I saw this band, The Esteems. Shout out! I'm
Nice,
wearing their
got a shirt.
Yeah, and I was like doing door, but I was like, I'm buying a fucking shirt.
I'm buying a shirt. They
Yeah,
were
because
good.
they were really, really good. And so yeah, I feel like it's interesting because I've been around the Columbus scene for like 10 plus years now, and these guys have been around for like 6 years. And it's weird how you can miss out on some stuff, just I think it depends on the circle you're in. That's something I've found about Columbus, is that it's not necessarily cliquey, but there's just a lot of different friend groups of cool people
Are
who
they from Columbus?
they are.
That's crazy. I haven't heard of them.
Yeah, I know. And like there was, our bartender Lee knew about him.
And that shirt is awesome.
Yeah, I know, isn't
I
it
like that
dope?
shirt.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, it is interesting.
What?
It's all giggly today.
Yeah. I'm in a good mood now that you're here.
Aw, it was tense before.
No, it wasn't tense.
I was
Yeah, it was
sensing
a whole thing.
little
It wasn't.
tension.
It was awkward, Trevor. You don't have to run
Look,
from
I
it.
just told you I wasn't feeling 100%. You know?
He was saying, let's shut the whole thing down.
Oh, really?
I was
call the whole
saying,
thing
we
off?
got to keep it going, man.
Yeah, you gotta have faith, dude.
You got to have faith.
Yeah.
I have faith.
We did get
I think you
religious
got-
for a second, but we steered away from that as well.
I think
I
you
told
got
him we didn't
some-
want this to be, pigeonhole anybody.
Oh yeah, you said religious?
Yeah.
Oh boy, don't get me started.
Tell us about this Christian ska band, man.
Oh brother, Five Iron Frenzy.
What is
They're
Five
awesome.
Iron Frenzy?
They're a Christian
We'll pull
ska
up a
band
picture.
that I listened to as a kid. My older brothers knew of them, I think, and I was like 4 or 5 years old when I first was listening to them. They have this CD called "Proof That the Youth Are Revolting." It's
That's
from.
a good title.
It's a live album from Cornerstone, which was this Christian music festival, and it was like in the 90s. So it was 1999, this album. But I've listened to it hundreds of times in my life. But they just came through Scully's, and I
Really?
worked the show. And yeah, it was wild. It was really cool. And I got a T-shirt and did a shot with the sax player, Leonore, whose voice I've heard so many times.
That's awesome.
It was really cool.
Yeah, I love that story. There's something very wholesome about
Yeah.
it.
It was great. Oh man, and I talked to like the bass player, who I like when I was 12 years old learning bass, dude. I learned some of their bass lines, which ska bass playing is crazy. It's like really cool. It's like some of the most intricate and fun bass playing that there is. You know what I mean? So yeah, I learned their bass lines when I was like 12.
Yeah.
Learning how to play bass, and I was like, "Hey man, did you write that bass line?" He's like, "Yes, I did." Crazy. And then I also got to ask, because their song "Every New Day," it's like their closer, and on that live album, the end has this certain melody that's really great, but then on the recording, it's a different melody, which is also good. But I'm like, why did they do that? And I got to ask him, and he was like, oh, that's because like after we had been playing that song for a little while, we realized that melody we pretty much ripped off directly from this other song. I'm trying to remember what that song was called. Golf. Oh, something about T-shirts. No hats, no T-shirts. Something like that. I can't remember, but anyway.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was really, really cool to be like, because I had that, I was like wondering. Now I know.
What are the other? There's a couple other big Christian rock groups.
Reliant K.
But it was.
No way.
Dude, they were my first favorite band, and I will talk about them at length.
What was it called?
Reliant K. It's like
Okay.
Christian pop punk. Really solid.
They're in like Skate 3.
Dude.
They're huge.
Yeah, they're cool.
Was Switchfoot a?
Yeah, man, they were one of the big ones too.
I even know that one.
For me.
They're 21 Pilots as well.
Well, I don't know if they count.
That was like their thing. Like my
Yeah.
sister was like, Trevor, they're a Christian band.
Uh-huh. She was all excited. They're a Christian band. They're a Christian
Popular
band.
from Ohio.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I think I've heard those guys are really nice. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't, I think with Reliant K, there's like songs where they're like, Jesus, I pray. And that's a real one. And so they're like heavy in it, like, but 21 Pilots, I think maybe strategically were less like vocal about it.
Yeah.
Which I think is a wise move. Like Sufjan Stevens is one of my favorites. And
Yeah, he's great.
yeah, and he's Christian, and he has a couple songs that are, Seven Swans, that album is very spiritual. Otherwise, you don't really hear a lot of, I guess you probably do hear a lot more spiritual
My
references throughout,
problem with Christian music was never that it was about God. It was always that it was like I always thought it
Terrible.
was corny
Yeah.
the way they talk. It was always like the most.
It's monotonous as hell.
It's like they
A lot of
use.
it, yeah.
They're using like
a lot of it.
Yeah.
There is some.
they're using like
Yeah.
God
But you gotta
buzzwords.
find it. That's the thing. It's not readily available.
It's not what the churches are playing either.
No, they're playing stuff that I really don't like
but
that.
yeah, but yeah, if it's just a song about like a feeling of a power or connectivity to people, then you don't even notice that it's a Christian song.
Right, exactly.
So I thought what we're trying to say on this podcast is, support your local Christian artist.
Yeah, unless they suck.
Right, unless they suck, then don't support them, but you can still be nice to them and shake their hand or
Have
something.
you seen the episode of King of the Hill about this?
No.
There's this Christian rock band, and it's like they're like terrible. And Hank says, "You're not making Christian music any better. You're just making rock and roll worse." It's hilarious.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I feel strongly about that. I was raised Christian, and still am spiritual, but far more open-minded and less anxious. Yeah, I was always like, why are they playing this crappy stuff on the radio? But there's really cool Christian bands, or like there's cool Christian songs and stuff like Audio Adrenaline is really cool.
There's this new guy. He's on the come up.
Mhm.
Because he just put out like 2 singles, and then a full album. And Pitchfork went nuts on it. His name's
nice.
Cameron Winter. He's an insane piano player. Has a very great, unique, deep voice. I was listening to it in the car with my friends. Don't do that. I was listening to it in the car
Preach.
listening to it in the car with my friends this weekend, and there's this like part at the end of the album where he sings, "God is real, I'm not kidding, God is actually real." And it's like, it's very intense, like the way he plays is so intense, and it is like kind of funny
Is it tongue-in-cheek?
it doesn't feel that way. It feels very genuine. And like it does like sound funny when it comes out of nowhere. And my buddies were like laughing, but I was just like, this is like a very beautiful thing. Like he's just like he's excited that he's about his like he feels like confident and secure in his faith. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I agree. I support that in anything that causes you to feel that, that excited about life. And, I feel like that kind of guy would probably not be using it to be, oppressive to other groups.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I support that.
Yeah, I always thought that'd be the best feeling in the entire world.
Yeah, totally.
If that guy really
get behind
is standing there like God is real.
Yeah.
It's like awesome.
Yeah.
That's how
What?
it
Yeah.
felt, man. It really did.
Uh-huh.
It's a great album.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's cool. I'm excited to check that out.
Heavy Metal by Cameron Winter.
Cool. I'm gonna check that out. That's cool. If Pitchfork likes it,
Pitchfork went nuts on it.
that's wild. Yeah, they're
It's the only reason why I
sticklers.
listen to it.
Uh-huh.
Like, what's Pitchfork for,
Yeah, right. I remember there's this guy Josh Garrels who, like, most of his stuff I'm really not that into. No offense, sorry Josh, but
We won't tell
I'm
him.
sure he's
We won't tell
listening.
him.
I'm sure he's listening.
It's okay.
But he does have a couple songs. He's a really great musician, and like he has this song called White Owl, and I've discovered him because NPR did an article about him because that song is really dope, and they were like, "Who is this guy?" And so yeah. It's cool. It's cool to see people doing it right because all the examples that most of the examples I've seen, even growing up, of Christianity have been like another. There's another monster on the loose. There's another scandal. Literally, there's like a church that I used to go to is currently wrapped up in this scandal. The son of the pastor, one of the sons, like was doing really messed up stuff for years. He was like at the youth camps and stuff, and anyway, he's like on the run right now, and yeah, it's crazy.
Well,
And
guess what, dude? My sister.
2
2 situations, 2 different people,
yeah.
2 different churches.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Crazy how often that happens.
Oh yeah, and it's.
You'd think you would kind of like.
Yeah,
I don't want to be. It's kind of like when,
Like you choose this holy and great life, this devotion to the holy Lord, and
Yeah.
then you go and touch a
little
kid.
kid's asshole, and it's like,
Yeah.
what's the deal with that?
Yeah.
Especially locally, that's horrible news.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah. Anywhere, but I do want to go back and address that. When you said my sister, I kind of chuckled because of the way you said it. But no, that's a horrible, horrible thing, and I'm so sorry.
No, it really is.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her. I feel bad for the people who are listening to this to these pastors.
Yeah.
And
Not realizing that they're being led astray.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Plus, those benches are so cold.
finally, someone says it. Yes.
It's like that's got to be unpleasant.
Yes. We all were thinking it. It's true.
On the
but
bare
yeah, we don't
skin,
have
it's
to.
just like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Let's not get into this. Do you support yourself just from this these door gigs, or do you also have another employment? Or?
That was expertly navigated, by the way. But yes, I.
we just got a list of topics, so we worked this out.
Oh yeah,
ahead of
we
time.
got. Yeah, there's a lot of amount of time.
Yeah,
to
Trevor
spend on.
contributes a little bit, so he wrote out a list of some things we wanted to talk about, and one thing was your employment and just like how you
Thank you.
how you're supporting yourself.
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
Because no, actually, it's well, I've never been that. I've been fired from a lot of jobs and stuff over the years, and just never could really fit in with a lot of jobs, and I always blamed myself for it and felt like it was my fault. But I recently have been for the last year and a half or so, I've been working with Celebrity Etc., who own Rumba Cafe and book shows at Rumba, the Athenaeum Theater, Scully's, sometimes Natalie's, and I think that's it. So I've been doing door and stagehand stuff for them, and the hours line up with my lifestyle, which is very convenient and important, and so yeah, I've and it's not too much, that I feel really overwhelmed by it. But then a few months ago picked up Rambling House as well. So most Friday and Saturdays I'm working at Rambling House, which is totally manageable. And then I have fewer Celebrity Etc. gigs, but still, maybe a couple a month, 2 or 3 or 4. And then also I host an open mic, and I've been doing that for 2 years at the Summit Music Hall. Oh. So I get
When is that?
a little bit of money Tuesdays.
Nice.
It's a great time. Yeah, we got great, really talented people come out there really consistently. A lot of my friends, and we got it's crazy sometimes. There'll be it's pretty slow sometimes. But a couple weeks ago, everybody who performed was just really good, and 2 or 3 of them I'd never heard before. And it's really cool to have that happening at my open mic. You know what I mean?
Is there one tomorrow?
Yes, indeed.
So every week?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come out and do that. That's cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. And also Simon.
Yes.
What is your project?
Simon Molnar.
Simon Molnar, dude.
Yes.
I've listened to your stuff.
Really?
I've messaged you, I think, on Instagram.
Well, this is awkward.
Well, I didn't realize that was you. That's funny. But yeah.
Yes, I didn't know you were the friends with elephants.
Yeah.
And for a little side note, I for a while I thought it was crabs with legs and friends without elephants.
Ah, that's that happens a lot.
Yeah, I mean I don't think it happens that much, but when it does happen, it's a tragedy because that's not the correct name. The correct name was friends with elephants.
Yes, it's true, and I think Friends Without Elephants would probably still pull it up, fortunately. But yeah, we did play that show with them and Dairy Family, last January at Ace, so I could see the confusion happening.
Right.
Yeah, understandable.
How long have you guys been a group? 5 years.
Approximately.
I know that because he said it at the beginning.
Oh, he said that at the beginning. Trevor is
Don't
right on top of it
don't
with
use
his
this
knowledge.
as an opportunity to shame him,
Yeah.
Trevor. That's not cool.
Yeah,
it's not what this is.
I got a lot
man.
of things on my mind, Trevor.
You requested interjections.
That's true. I did. Can you look up the definition of interjection, please?
Yeah.
Just so we
Get
can
back to
get
us
it
when that comes up.
clear.
You do your thing.
Okay, cool. And I'll just try to ignore you over there. But what were we saying?
I think we were talking about the holiday season, but let's get back on to what's your favorite?
Interjection, an abrupt remark made especially as an aside or interruption.
Okay, maybe I should rephrase what I'm requesting from you then.
Yeah, I'm not really an interrupter.
Mm-hmm.
Right, except maybe right there.
Yeah.
And
That's
maybe
weird. That's the one time.
We'll think about that,
Yeah. But anyway, let's get back.
A bit of irony there, right? Because he's talking about how he's he's trying to be helpful.
Okay, I gotta look at these levels.
Maybe if you could pull it up a little quicker, we wouldn't have. We were talking about Christmas and we were talking about the holiday season.
Yeah. And Santa,
What a guy!
he's,
Doing it for the kids.
yeah, saint. He's a saint.
Do you think that's
Am I rocking too much, by the way?
No, that's
Okay.
a perfect amount of rock.
Okay,
We actually
good.
put that chair over there just for rocking.
Nice. Good.
Keep on rocking.
In the free world.
Yeah. And that's where we are.
Mm-hmm.
We're recording
That's
this
a
thing.
Neil Young song, by the way, Simon. I know you're not really well versed with Neil Young.
Oh, because he's not on Spotify?
No, he's on Spotify again.
Which was he the guy who took
Did
it
he
off
get back
Spotify,
on
though?
Spotify? That's
yeah,
cool.
He's back on.
But he was off Spotify.
It's just weird because he was like, he preferred Apple Music, and it's like, okay, well, like, that's better. But I guess it's American. I don't know. He's Canadian, so.
Right.
I
Spotify's
don't-
Swedish or something.
But so my friend did say, like, he got Apple Music just to, like for a free trial, just to listen to Neil Young, and he said it was noticeably better. Like,
Really?
Spotify really does, like, compress shit.
If it was better, they would put the monthly listeners on Apple Music.
They don't?
No,
You
because
can find his
it would be like a third of, at most, it'd be like a third of what Spotify is.
Hmm.
Wow.
But
Oh, so they leave it off strategically to not, so people don't know how poorly they're
poor,
doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But if they would, Spotify also doesn't, like, they don't have any hardware they're selling. Not like Apple, where they got iPhones or anything.
Oh, they'll be fine.
But Spotify
Yeah.
does.
Spotify?
They do have
Apple.
a lot of.
Oh, Apple,
'Cause
yeah,
they're
yeah.
selling, you know.
Spotify has nothing.
iPhones.
They literally sell, they just,
They have,
what are they selling?
They should have some products, shouldn't they?
They should
a
have something.
Spotify T-shirts.
They have the
probably
car
have shirts.
thing. The car thing.
Do they have a car thing?
Yeah, that's what it's called. The car thing. And
That's
also,
what it's called.
They have plenty of money because they funded Trump's brunch.
Well, I'm sure they got
Trump's
money,
Brunch.
but they don't actually, they're not selling
Trump's
anything.
Brunch Fund. Is that a new band name?
They donate so much money.
Uh huh.
The CEO.
They love Donald.
And the CEO is also like an asshole towards artists. Like he like does not understand.
CEO of what?
Everything you're talking about.
Spotify.
Spotify.
Everything you're talking about like working as an artist and like I don't like the struggle of just like making something. Like he doesn't care about that. Like he doesn't understand that. Like he himself is not a musician.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I do feel strongly about that. I remember a few years ago, everyone was saying boycott Spotify, which, I mean, I guess that's pretty doable.
Yeah, but who
You
cares?
know,
Who
Could
cares?
always just switch to Apple
Who
Music.
cares, though,
Like-
is the thing.
Like,
Well,
but,
we're setting a precedent for the future, you know, and I mean, I don't know. I think, you know, the thing is that artists, I kind of don't believe in artists being like, you know, like rich as fuck, you know what I mean? I feel like, I don't know, I think the whole stardom thing and celebrity is, you know, kind of toxic, the culture of that.
Right.
And so I think that musicians, you know, I think the top musicians have always been overpaid and continue to be, but then the bottom musicians have always been underpaid and continue to be. Yeah, I don't know.
It'd be nice if the Spotify subscription you pay went to the people you listen to.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, what, 0.01% of it does or something?
Well, it's like it all goes into a pool, and then they
Yeah.
divvy it out to whoever gets the most streams.
Mhm.
Then you can just, like, fake streams, or you can
Mhm.
do whatever.
Yeah. I do feel fortunate to have developed a lifestyle that I don't rely on that too much. I wonder if I will someday, but like right now, so I feel really lucky too because I have a place that's like pretty cheap rent. It's like kind of, you know, there's like holes in the ceiling and stuff,
Right.
and the floor, but you know,
You
I
step
don't
in
mind.
them. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, just watch it,
right.
you
You're
know,
not gonna
walk
step in
around
them.
it,
Yeah.
go over.
Yeah.
You know? It's not that hard. But yeah, so like, you know, for a while there, I was surviving on open mic, which is $100 a week that I get for that.
Wow.
Well, because I'm doing the sound as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, for sure. It's really a sweet gig. So I was living off that and donating plasma for years. I was
Now,
donating
this is
plasma.
interesting.
Oh yeah, yeah. Have you ever donated?
No, I might want to get into it.
Dude, and they like have all these posters on the wall. They're like, "You're a hero for doing this."
That would make me feel
It's just
nice.
so funny, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it helps with your self-esteem and you get some money and you're, you know, not as afraid of needles. After,
Right. Any
you know.
downsides? Because this is sounding pretty good.
I'd say the stigma. There's a bit of a stigma.
Bit of a stigma against it.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Is
like
it the new
weird.
gay, maybe?
Huh?
Is this the new gay donating plasma?
The new gay?
In the sense of like the stigmatism, you know. People
Um,
got
Gay?
this could be the new.
Well, we need a new one because the old one's just not.
It's
you
not
know.
fun anymore.
No.
We need
It's not cool anymore.
we need But plasma,
Yeah.
is it safe?
I think-
everything good.
It seems to be safe. You
What
have
if
to,
I?
like,
So is it no benefit in having more plasma versus less plasma? Does it come back?
I think it's just all about how you feel about yourself.
Right, and do you feel maybe medium because you
Sometimes I
donated
feel fatigued
fatigue.
afterwards, but just drink some water and eat a
A
meal.
little water,
You'll be
little
fine.
some electrolytes.
Electrolytes are helpful, definitely.
You go Gatorade or Powerade?
Gator Light, dog.
Gator Light. I
It's
like those
the
things. They're a
shit.
little smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're strong. They're
Packs a punch, though, I'll tell you.
Used to do those before FedEx.
Mhm.
Those were nice.
Oh, man, you'll sweat it all out.
Sweat it all out.
I've worked at a bunch of warehouses, too, and I have back problems.
Right. Yeah. Those
now
that
as
hurts.
a result. Yeah.
Can you talk about when you wrote Asymmetrical, man? What inspired you?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean,
A
it wasn't
request.
something symmetrical.
No, it was something asymmetrical in
No,
a
it
good
makes
way.
sense.
Yes. Is this? I'm curious. Is it because you know the story? Did I tell you the story? Yeah.
I like
That's
it a
right.
lot.
That's what I thought.
So you're trying to get something out of him.
Yes.
Well, he had an ace in the hole. He had,
There's nothing wrong with that, Trevor.
Something up his sleeve.
Just
I
maybe be
respect
honest with
it.
your intentions.
Yeah, I do feel deceived,
Yeah.
but I can look past that.
Thank you.
So I think I consider myself. This sounds kind of ridiculous,
No,
pretentious even maybe, but I kind of consider myself a student of songwriting, and I think I have since I started writing songs. And the theory that I kind of have, which I'm sure somebody said before, or maybe I even stole it from somebody, is that basically, like, the way that you write a song, the way that you are when you write a song is going to affect the result. So you can be happy or sad or rich or poor or whatever, hungry or full. And I think you're gonna have a different result, which is cool because there's so many different types of songs that you can get. You can be drunk or stoned or whatever. You can have diarrhea. You can
Right.
feel fit as a fiddle, and it's gonna affect the result. So I was stoned one day, and I was. But also, just like the approach that you take, you can write a song about something, or you can, whatever. So, and I'm very aware of this a lot of the time. I think about it a lot, And so I was walking. I lived in my car at the time, and in Victorian Village, and I was walking to my practice space at Franklinton at 400 West Rich, and I walked behind Kosai, and I was like a little stoned listening to music, And I saw this piece of paper on the ground, and it was a drawing, presumably done by a child of like a little girl.
I would hope.
And yeah, because, well, it was better than I could do. And I just was noticing all these details about it, like there were orange stars. She had a flower on her shirt. Her arms and legs were rectangles. Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Let's keep that in. Let's actually
Yeah. Well,
automate that, make it really loud. Can you make the screen vibrate when it...
I could give it a shake.
that'd be
We'll shake it
cool.
up. We'll shake things up.
Cool, all right.
During the edit.
But anyway, so I'm noticing all these details, and I was like, this might make a cool song, like just listing the details of this drawing that I found.
Right.
And so I get to my practice space, and I'm writing out all the details. The orange star, she has a flower on her shirt. The flower was asymmetrical in a good way. It was because it was like a tulip. It's sort of, I was like, that's interesting. But anyway, and then, so I realized or I tried to arrange it in the way that would make the most sense, lyrically, the rhythm and everything, cadence. And then, the last detail I noticed before I was when I was looking for the hook was she's smiling with her eyes closed. And I was like, that's such a cool hook. So I just wrote it pretty quickly, based on the kind of rhythm of the syllables of the words or whatever. And initially I was I recorded a quick little demo of it, and initially I was like, this is terrible, I thought it was cool at first, but then it's that thing where you just can't be objective about something, especially right away. You're still in that kind of weird, vague place. But yeah, I'm really proud of it. We've released that now as a single, and it's one of our favorites. So.
Well, what you said that I found interesting was the thing about how there's so many different patterns of approaches you can take to make a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is the inherent value in just making a thing to you? Do you know what I mean? Why? I find the more I make stuff, that's what's interesting too, is that if you just take anything and go with it,
Mm-hmm.
you'll put everything you got into it, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But, what's the point?
I think it depends. I think that's a really important part of doing it.
Do you sort of need to do it?
I think it's important for people to establish why they're doing it, because everything will make a lot more sense if you understand what your goals are for it. I think for me, it's something that I always felt connected to. I was like 14 when I started writing songs, and I just was like, oh, this is it. Like, this is the thing I should do,
Yeah.
And it's funny looking back, like how sure I was that that was what I was supposed to be doing, and so now, I definitely have this sense of like I get so much satisfaction from writing songs, and then that's one level, and then the ones that I get to record and that I'm happy with, and then performing them live with the band and getting to hear the full band version, and when people are like, I like that song, and or it connected with somebody or something like that, is I think the reason that is so satisfying to me is, well, it just kind of suggests to me that this is something that I was meant to be doing, or just something that I...
It's nice, even just the reassurance that, like, what I've been doing is actually happening, and it's, becoming something.
Yeah, for sure.
I used to think when I was, like, a kid, like, whatever I did when I was older, I would just get good at that thing and then try really hard.
Mm-hmm.
But then eventually it's like, well, I can't just make myself do things I don't want to do, and it feels like I sort of maybe have to make these sort of things sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do, it sort of like solves a puzzle within the rest of my life as well.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And I think, I feel really lucky, I've said this before, that the thing that I happen to be really into and put a lot of time into, I think is so therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's like such a good way. There's songs that I've written that were deeply personal that, I felt like I had I had gotten some closure on a situation or something when I was able to write out and express how I felt and be honest about it, and especially if it's catchy, you know what I mean? That's great. It's
it
like
feels
even
good.
more healing. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
But, yeah, for sure. And I feel really lucky that I wasn't really into, something that doesn't provide that therapy.
Right, you could have been
like
into
math.
plumbing.
Yeah. Well, I think
PVC only gets so interesting nowadays,
Yeah. But I do think that anything you do could probably be therapeutic.
It's true.
And I just am, not into certain stuff.
What's interesting is like when you learn something or you get good at a thing like music or whatever, you gain a little perspective on life that carries into the rest of your life, right? But then what's interesting is imagining all the perspectives you don't have of things you don't really understand what the point of it is. What's interesting in school, they never say like you're learning all this stuff like math and science to have a better understanding of like the universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like to get the job.
Yeah, no one's ever like they just
came up with
launch
this
into
stuff
it
for a reason. Like they came up with the math to try to understand.
Mm-hmm. The way that the universe is. Yeah.
Right.
But now we're just like, okay, 2 + 2 is 4. But why?
Why? What is?
Yes,
who cares?
pourquoi?
Who cares?
No, I don't. No, I do. I do think it's really interesting. Oh man, don't get me started on the education system.
Right. We'll be here all night.
Yeah. Well, I do have a unique history with education.
What does that mean?
It means I went to a lot of different schools. When I was a kid, I went to 12 different schools by freshman year. And then
by freshman year,
or like by the end of, because I dropped
crazy.
out. I dropped out freshman year.
So you were doing half years and
yeah, moved around. Like I'd be in 8th grade I went to 2, 6th grade I went to 2, freshman year I went to 2, and then dropped out freshman year. Dropped out of high school.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I got my GED when I was 16, and then I took 1 semester at Columbus State, like right after I turned 17. But I also was like going through a lot in my life, and I had like a manic phase, and so I took 3 classes and failed them all, and I still owe Columbus State like $2,000 for grants.
Oh, that's not that bad.
No, really, no, not in the grand scheme of things. I've been meaning to pay. I've paid off other debts.
Right.
I don't know why I support what they're doing. I think it's a good thing. I should help them out. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So, and I feel strongly about, I felt like I didn't really fit into the standard education plan, and and I feel like I was one of the people who slipped through the cracks, you know, as far as like I wasn't really stimulated and I didn't really find like my place in that system.
Yeah.
So yeah, no hard feelings or anything, but I do, you know, like my nephews are going to school now and they've moved around a lot, and I just, you know, I really want to make sure that they well, you know, not that I'm doing much about it really. I talk to them and hang out, but yeah, you know, I hope that they're getting a decent experience with the education system.
Yeah, I kind of lost hope. I not lost hope, but I just became. When I was younger, I always wanted to like get everybody super into whatever I was doing. Like, let's make something, and then eventually it's just, I don't know. There's just no space for that where it happens naturally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. So, did you go to like the same school throughout your, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. I switched like
school years.
one time in elementary school, but then I went to the same school. But then like high school, I just did like online basically, and then never really even finished it. So
Was that because of COVID?
yeah,
Wow.
and then you know once you're at home,
Mm-hmm.
I had like the robot doing it for me, so I
Mhm.
wasn't. It's like, well, when am I gonna go back to school? And
Yeah.
then I was like started working on music and stuff, and I liked that, and I was good at it.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole time though, I was like, well, you know, if I wanted to do my homework, I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I could because I didn't do it,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to do it.
I never did homework
And
at
it's
all.
like, I feel like
either,
it's like
yeah.
that for a lot of things. It's like eventually in my life, it's like I can't just make myself do something I would be okay at
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not going to want to. That's like every single day you have to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's important, you know, to have structure and
Yeah.
whatnot. But I think that they're kind of, and not to shit on teachers either, because I think, you know, they're like really
Yeah.
underappreciated and underpaid and everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Although a lot of the teachers are like, you think about who would get the job. Just like a math teacher, it's like it's not the person who really understands why it matters. Why all this like the grand concept of the stuff you're learning and why it matters. It's just like
I'm sure some have a deeper understanding more than others.
Yeah, some
Definitely,
are
but,
really
like-
into it too, like Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah.
Some of those
Right.
dudes, but you know, how many
even
of them
he
are going
killed
to be?
himself.
That wasn't.
You're thinking of Dead Poets Society.
No,
dog.
no. I'm talking about the guy, Robin Williams. He killed himself.
Yeah, but that's because he
Oh.
had dementia. He was like losing his mind.
That's debatable.
No, it's true. That he was.
I think that's true, but I
Look.
wouldn't want to speculate on this podcast.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
He was a
there,
No,
wonderful
it's
man.
not a speculative.
but there
A
was
great actor.
There was this.
Mhm.
There was a book about him.
Oh, really?
And it went into his mental health in his last days. Yes, he was suicidal and dealt with depression and struggled a lot throughout his life.
Right.
But what led him to kill himself was insanity. Like he was.
Confused.
He was losing. He was losing his mind.
Yeah, he was
I think
confused.
he was heavily confused. That's a good way to put it.
Right.
Death by Confusion.
That's sad. He's a great guy.
Death by
You-
Confucius.
Yeah, who is that guy? Let's find out.
Have you ever seen the movie with Robin
What are you
Williams
doing?
where he's like in a dream? He's like died, and he's trying to like communicate with his dead wife, but it's like early 2000s CGI. God, I'll pull it up.
I don't think so.
No, wait. Say it again. Say it again. I'll figure this out.
Robin Williams, dead wife, dream world. I think fucking there's some crazy actor in it who's like
Robin Williams' Dead Wife Dream World sounds like something. I just love
animated
those
version.
words
No.
together.
What a great
Um,
guy though.
I love
It seemed
that
to
guy.
be,
I love
yeah,
him so
absolutely, yeah.
Dead Poet Society. I was a
Mhm.
big fan.
Yeah, me too. Dead Poets Society and Goodwill Hunting are
So
two of
Goodwill
my
Hunting,
top
yeah.
five. Or, you know, I haven't reassessed my top five in a long time. but
Right.
Those are two. I have something that I really love to do is get drunk by myself and watch a good ass movie. You
Yeah,
know,
I like that too.
Departed was amazing
Right, yeah,
to
yeah.
watch. Just drunk by myself, like, oh shit, Leo.
Yeah, I watched that
Get
drunk
out of
on a
there.
plane.
Which one?
I watched Departed drunk on a plane. That was a nice feeling.
Wow, that's fantastic.
That was great because you're
That's
really
cool.
involved in it. You know?
Yeah, for sure. And it's a good distraction from being,
It-
you know.
that's a great
so high
movie.
in the sky. Yeah, absolutely.
Boston.
Uh huh. Yeah. Dropkick Murphys. They did that song. Shipping up to Boston. That was on one of my playlists in 7th grade.
It's a hit song.
You ever been to
Yeah.
Boston?
Never been to Boston. I haven't been around that much. I mean, I lived in Florida and
Me
stuff.
neither. Florida.
Yeah, and I lived in Georgia for a minute, but
What were you moving around for again?
my parents were divorced, and
Right.
you
and
know,
they
my
were
mom
just
was
bored.
just trying to take care of us and whatnot, and I went back and forth between parents a little bit, and then, you know, and then.
But were they moving throughout the whole thing?
Yeah. My mom was moving around constantly. God bless her. She was married for 18 years. I was the youngest. I'm the youngest of 4 boys. My older brothers are, the oldest is 10 years older than me. So I was
Okay,
like
good.
7, and my oldest brother was 17.
So she was kind of done with the whole thing.
Yeah, well,
Because they all move around.
well, anyway, I mean, she just really didn't know, she had never had to. My dad worked the whole time, so she never really had to provide for anybody or anything. But then all of a sudden, she's like, she has to be independent and take care of me and my other brother.
Yeah.
And but anyway, so she moved around a ton, like staying with different family members, and bought a house, and then sold it, and then got married and got divorced again, and so just trying to like survive. Basically.
Are they here in Columbus?
My mom is here, or no, my mom's in Cleveland actually. My dad passed away like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, like 7 years ago. So yeah.
Well, let's get back to the fun topics.
Oh,
Trevor
yeah.
finally brought this thing up.
What is this? Can you describe the Robin Williams movie again? I really should know.
I think
this,
you
man.
made it up.
It's like
dude.
What Dreams May Be or something.
You're talking
What
about
Dreams May
Bicentennial
Come?
Man?
No.
Um,
Robin Williams.
no, I'm pulling shit up.
Yeah, it's What Dreams May Come. That's what it is.
Okay.
I've heard of that.
The fucking visuals in this movie are crazy.
Trevor, don't act like it's not your fault, dude.
Yeah, I mean, dude, what?
You're the guy.
But Confucius, Chinese philosopher of the spring and autumn period, who's traditionally considered the paragon of Chinese sages.
Those are a good 2 seasons to get.
Pretty short career.
Confucius season's coming
Was it
up.
every year?
I guess so.
Oh, okay.
So he's kind of like bi-seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's by winning.
Now, what does that even mean?
It's a Charlie
here,
Sheen
win
reference,
there,
man.
win
Oh,
everywhere.
I see.
Where? It's a good song.
What are we doing on time? How is this thing?
So you guys have been talking for 40 minutes.
40 minutes. It's
Cool.
beautiful.
Flew by.
With our talk, it's been an hour and 17 minutes.
You guys were already chatting?
Yeah.
I love that. I was wondering, because I've been listening to some podcasts lately.
Like who?
So Bad Friends
Mhm.
with Bobby. Oh man, I know his
Yeah,
last
who
name.
is that? Oh, is that
And Andrew Santino. Bobby.
Damn, what's his name?
I cannot remember. Gosh darn it! And I never. I'm usually good with these names. Bobby Lee.
Bobby Lee, yeah.
Bobby
yeah.
Lee.
How
Yeah,
did I
he's
forget
hilarious.
Lee?
I don't know.
I love the Mark Maron podcast.
I listened to one episode once, and I think I got the wrong idea of Mark Maron early on, and it affected my.
He's neurotic as hell, but like that's the best part.
He seems cool, and he's been great in stuff that I've seen him in.
Yeah.
But I think I just I tried to listen to the one with him and Jeff Tweedy one day, or
I didn't listen to that one.
and it's for some reason I think it also I just was like in more of a like comedy mood. You know what I mean? So
I know what you mean.
I listen to a lot of Comedy Bang Bang.
Oh, that's great.
It's like
What is
my
that?
favorite. It's so there was a show on IFC, but it had already been a podcast for a few years. Weird Al has been on the podcast a lot, and also was the band leader during the 5th season. But yeah, so I discovered the show first, and then listened to the podcast a lot. But it's got a lot of my favorite comedians, and I pay $5 a month so that I can listen to all the old ones, because like all the old comedians are my favorite.
There's a band and everything?
So band leader is a loose term. It's really just one guy doing the music.
Right.
Yeah, but
That sounds fun.
it's delightful.
Are you saying they maybe have a better thing going on than what this?
This podcast, I think, could learn a lot from that podcast.
Well, this
We could
it
also
could be a
learn lot
budget
from-
issue.
We could also learn a lot from the Mark Maron podcast.
Is that what you pulled up here?
Yeah. No, I don't.
Scrap the whole segment? See this? What am I? Whatever
not
I'm paying
necessary.
you, it's too much. That's an old expression where someone's fucking up their job and you try to kind of make light of it.
I love that.
You'll say it maybe like someone they'll drop your food. They're like, hey, whatever I'm paying you, it's too much.
Too much.
And they're
Yeah.
saying what they're implying is like, I'm giving you too much money for what you're doing. you know?
Yeah, I love that. That's fun.
It's
It's fun and kind of sad.
it's a little sad.
Yeah.
So
But
you don't really have any consistent schedule in your life, huh?
Well, I
besides
just
the Friday, Saturday.
so I just
and
added.
Tuesday.
I just started. So they needed somebody to start cleaning Rumba Cafe after the shows.
Right.
So now I do that. So
Late
I
at
come
night?
in the next day, and I
Oh,
just have to have it done
morning.
before like load in for if there's a show the next day.
Nice.
Otherwise, I don't really have to
So
worry
it gives
about
you a
it.
big gap.
Yeah, for sure. Which is great because it's like I feel like it's training wheels for like a real schedule because
Yeah.
it's like 5 or 6 days a week,
Right.
But I just have to show up before like 2 p.m. and I can generally get it done in
That's
time.
pretty good.
Yeah, which is great. I'm hoping to start like showing up there at 10 a.m. every day. And then working for 2 hours, and then I'll go like have lunch or something. And maybe work on my computer and like send emails. I'm not great at the promo stuff for the band and booking the shows and like sending my music to people. What's your approach to that? Do you like how's your outreach? Do you like send music out to radio stations and stuff or?
Yeah, I mean you can just send a million emails and someone will respond.
Right.
And I guess that means something.
Have you had success from that method?
Moderately. They'll put me on the thing,
Yeah, that's awesome.
but whether that affects much is debatable.
Yeah.
But you just need the right person once, I think, and it depends what you're trying to do. Booking a show is always like, I don't know. I don't have any actual method besides just sending an email to 40 different venues in a city and being like,
have you toured?
I've really only played a couple shows played in New York and Pittsburgh, and then played in Muncie, Indiana once.
No shit.
But
That's awesome.
no.
I've heard good things about Muncie, but only from the show Parks and Recreation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Jerry loves it.
Yeah. This is cool. That's where Garfield's from.
Muncie? Really?
The guy who made Garfield. So
Oh,
they have a little
Jim
Garfield
Davis.
museum, which was it was a very small room. And we talked to the guy. They had a little Garfield's thing. I sat in it.
That's hysterical.
Had a little Garfield cutout.
There's like that one I think you should leave sketch. It's like they're trying to give an intervention
Garfield
to some
house?
guy, and it's just it was Jim Davis's old house.
Yeah. I have a Jim Davis story, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
please don't.
Tell you what, I was hoping that Garfield
glad we
would
brought
come
this
up.
up.
Yeah. I was in a band in high school.
I gotta pee.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Yeah, go
Should I still do it?
yeah, I'll hear it from you.
Oh, okay. I'll yell it.
Okay.
I was in this band. So I was in a band freshman year. I joined a band with some dudes who I wound up staying in the band throughout, like for the next 4 years or so. Though I dropped out of high school when I was 15. So they were still in high school at Grove City High School, and I was, had dropped out and everything. But anyway, so during this period, I think I was 16, and we played at this guy who one of their parents knew was having like a 4th of July party or something. So he had us out to play, and it was really cool. Like he had like a big, like he had an airplane there, and we had it in his hangar, which he had like decorated with music
He had
stuff.
a
He
hangar?
played music. Yeah, he had like it's a small hangar.
Yeah,
for like
it's
his
still a
airplane.
hangar.
Yeah, I think so, unless it's just like a large garage or something. But anyway, it was really cool, and so like, and he had all this great equipment, So we played a set, and then like the drummer and lead singer's dad played a set with his band or whatever, and it was a good time. But the guy, he was Jim Davis's personal pilot. So yeah, this guy whose 4th of July party my band played at when I was 16.
In this big hangar?
Yeah, well, it was a small hangar.
Okay, but
Or a large garage.
Any hangar is really a big hangar compared to a garage or whatnot.
I suppose. I don't even know, but yeah, I mean, there was more to it than, I mean, it was cool. But anyway, so we played this thing, and they had filmed some of it, and they put it on YouTube afterwards, and the guy emailed them and was like, in all caps, like, take the video down now, because he didn't want anyone seeing his hangar and all of his stuff in there. He thought his stuff would get stolen or something.
That makes sense.
That seems a little goofy.
Yeah, it's a little goofy,
That's
but
that's how the
I feel like he
hangars
could.
act.
Yeah, generally.
That's crazy to be like, you have a plane,
Mhm.
and then
I
you go
don't want anyone
freelance.
seeing it.
Yeah, I know. I'd be like, check it out.
Check out my plane.
Right.
I think he might be, he was a little older, and he probably had a different idea of how the world works or whatever.
Yeah.
But also, maybe that stuff does happen. Maybe he had somebody in his life who put up a video on YouTube.
That's got to be a
all their
thrill,
stuff got
stealing a
stolen.
plane.
Oh, man. That is great. What a getaway,
I mean,
too.
when those wheels lift off,
Oh, yeah. nothing like it.
You just got to put them down somewhere else. But
That's the hardest part, man.
sometimes you got to live in the moment.
Yeah.
Because what I always think is whatever happens later, the later me will deal with it.
Yeah. That's a really
And
good way to live.
it's always been true so far.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Do you have a specific, motto that you go by with your life? Like something that you follow, tried and true?
I think, I don't know if I have a motto.
Do you like avocado toast or scrambled eggs?
I do like avocado toast. I'm not as into scrambled eggs.
Really?
Interesting.
And that's my motto.
Do you fry them? Just
The eggs
in general,
I
not
don't
a
cook a
fan.
lot of eggs, and I'm not great with. This is something I'm trying to develop now, like as an adult.
Right.
I'm 29, and I've pretty much like I've just been kind of running around and being a piece of shit for 10
Just being
years.
a piece of shit, and that's
Just
okay.
'cause, like,
a lot of our viewers are doing the exact same thing.
Well, I think it's relatable for sure.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, I've just had jobs and gotten fired and lived places and then had to move in with my mom, and she kicks me out, and I lived in my car a few times and stuff. And so my 20s have just been, I think, I've been sort of adjusting to some of the stuff from my childhood that I think affected me adversely, and sort of just trying to learn how to navigate life effectively.
Yeah.
And lately, and so I'm really into the concept of, self-improvement. And it's very exciting, too, because I think, when you start from zero, then there's so much room for improvement. And then when you get a little, you're like, oh, man, that's cool. Like, I can actually, do this thing well, and it affects my life better, and it's, like, easier to live, So
Yeah.
I definitely think about that kind of thing a lot. And so the last few years, I've definitely been, like, developing in a lot of those ways. Like, I need to learn how to take care of myself better. Like, I got a YMCA membership recently.
And how much is that?
It's like, I think it's like $35 a month.
Well, where
but
is the nearest YMCA?
from here, couldn't tell you. But the closest one to my house is like across from Franklin Park over on East Broad Street.
Okay.
But I usually go to the one in Grove City because my grandma lives there, so it gives me like more of a reason to stop by and say hello
hi to grandma.
more often. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did your grandma cook you a nice meal?
No.
No, she sucks
she
at
used
cooking.
to though. Oh,
Oh.
man, she has a hard time getting around nowadays, but she still for special occasions will make a coconut cream pie or whatever. That's her classic.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. But so generally, but she's always like concerned about us getting fed, which I think it must be difficult for her having been able to, for so long.
Right,
Like
provide,
whenever
yeah.
someone came over, she's like, "I'm making a lasagna. Like, just you better be hungry,"
Yeah.
But then now people come over and she's like, "Are you hungry? There's probably something in the cabinet." Like she just wants people to be fed. You know?
Yeah.
She's a sweet lady.
Now, what cars were you sleeping in? A sedan, SUV?
So the first time it was a Honda CRV '99.
Nice.
Yeah, and this was when I was like
Does this have the table in it, or is
19. Yeah, it had a little table for like going on,
That's cool.
going camping and stuff. Yeah, which I never really utilized.
Oh.
But yeah, I just like took out the seats and put like a little mattress thing back there and a bunch of pillows and blankets, and I had to move all my shit into the front seats at night when I was sleeping, and I'd put up like blankets around the windows so no one could look in depending on where I was sleeping.
How'd you attach them?
It was not easy sometimes. You had to really devise a system. So this is years
I've tried
ago.
this before.
Have you?
With blocking off the windows.
Yeah,
Way
for
to do
sure.
it.
It's
In
not.
fact, I was just carving out big panels to.
That's exactly what I did.
Nice.
The third time that I lived in my car,
Right.
which I was, more experienced and more mature.
Came back with a little nuance.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think it was my mom's idea because, like, when
And this
I
was
was
the same CRV.
no, this was in a Ford Explorer.
Oh, that's a little.
Yeah. Oh man.
to live.
Oh, it was dope. And I worked at this place called Ziggy's in Victorian Village. It's a drive-through. I was working there, and I had gotten out of a relationship with a girl that I lived with, and then it was unexpected, and so I crashed with a friend for a little while. And then he was like, "You got to get out of here,"
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's fair." So my mom gave me her car because she never used it. Which God bless her, that was really sweet of her. And it was the Ford Explorer. So but the biggest thing when you're living in your car is you got to find a good place to park,
Yeah.
at night and stuff. And but there was a perfect space behind Ziggy's, like by the dumpster. It was like perfectly secluded next to a house with no windows on this side. So it's like perfect. I'm not, not kind of worried that somebody's watching me, pee or whatever. So I asked my boss if I could like live back there basically, and he was like, sure. So that was perfect. It was a nice situation. And then during that time, I was hosting the open mic at the Shrunken Head, which is like a block north of there on like off Neal on 5th.
Yeah.
So it was kind of dope, man, honestly. Yeah, and no rent is always nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy what a difference that makes. So I was kind of living large, honestly.
My first car was a Ford Explorer, and that shit stopped in the middle of an intersection on a highway.
Mhm.
It stopped working.
Oh no!
It overheated.
Yikes!
I was wondering if you had any other pro tips to people who are living in their car.
I think I had a membership at Planet Fitness, so I could go there and shower. It's $10 a month, but careful which one you get, because it might be more worthwhile to just take that money you're saving on rent and go for the YMCA membership. Because
Right.
you can, there's so much more to offer. You can
Play
play
some
basketball and
basketball?
swim.
Swim.
Yeah. Do you guys play basketball?
We should go play some pickup.
I love basketball.
I haven't
dude.
played in a while, but I'd
I
love
haven't
to.
played in a long time.
I love it. I
Let's
just
do
was
it.
over there recently, like, getting off the cobwebs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a lot
I
of
still
fun.
got it. That's not a good example. That's not how I really shoot.
Those places are fun.
Yeah, but it's important to keep up the hygiene. That's what I'd say with car living.
I'm trying to go on some sort of trip and not pay for a place to sleep every time I stop.
What kind of car do you have?
Chevy Volt.
Which is like a hatchback?
It's a hatchback.
Uh-huh.
It's a nice hatchback.
It's a pretty huge hatchback, but
Uh-huh.
it's also electric, so I can plug it. Well, it's electric for like 40 miles, and then it kicks onto a gas generator.
Hmm.
But I can plug it in overnight and run it off
It's
the.
like 40 miles. That's
thing.
like when your tank runs on empty. Like,
What? Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
It's nice like around the city, I guess. But
Yeah.
the real nice thing is at night, if you're doing that, you can just run the power straight from the plug.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done like just pull into a campsite thing.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, I had like a little portable power thing that I would charge at work, and it had like 4 outlets and USB ports and
Yeah.
stuff. But eventually, I lived in my car for 7 months. The most recent time, and that was from November of 2021 through June of 2022.
Yeah.
So it was during the like coldest months, and so I had like an electric blanket, which was great, but they take a lot of power.
Yeah.
So eventually, I think it wore out the power thing that I had bought, because it stopped like working with that stuff. I could still run like a little light or something on it, but that was frustrating. That's another tip.
So
Is
then
if
what do
it's
you
in
do?
the
You're
winter,
just cold.
you just bundle. I had a lot of blankets and stuff. So
But what do you
I would-
do? What were you doing to fill the time? Like.
I wrote songs in there. I would hang out. I watched a lot of Frasier for one period.
dude, that's awesome.
But also filling your life with stuff. Like I was in a band still. I was hosting an open mic.
Yeah.
I would meet people and jam with them or have lunch with friends, And also when I was hosting the open mic at the Shrunken Head, they had like a back office that nobody really used. So I would just go chill there a lot. And I'd like, have a few drinks and like write some stuff or, play guitar and whatever. So yeah, it was a very creative period of my life. That's when I wrote Asymmetrical, and I had that practice space too. So, and everyone else who we shared the practice space with had a 9 to 5. So if it was during those hours, I could always just go hang out there.
What were you paying for the practice space?
So at the time, I think it was like $320 or something, but split between like 4 bands.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which is very reasonable. It's
Yeah.
if you can manage the schedule of that, and you find some people who are willing to do it, it's great. Because I can go there at 3 a.m. if I'm feeling creative and like record a demo and be as loud as I want, and it's really cool. So yeah, and I had that during the period where I was living in my car, so I would go hang out there a lot and stuff.
That's cool. You can just get up and go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And also, Columbus is very walkable. you know, and it's delightful. Like I was living like off Neal, and what a beautiful area, especially in the springtime. Springtime, and then in the fall as well.
We were biking a bunch last year.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
A lot of fun.
I got a bike.
Yeah, you gotta get a bike.
Bye, Ruby.
Get a cheap one. And a bike has 2 wheels, but it'll get you there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Because you know, we're all going somewhere.
We're all going somewhere, man.
Thank you for coming on the cast.
Oh, absolutely, man.
You down to do a little musical performance?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you want a guitar?
Yeah, that'd be great. And I did. You said something about that, and I totally forgot.
Good.
But okay, that's cool. Yeah, it'll be off the cuff.
Wonderful. We'll
Yeah,
switch
cool.
spots, and then
Okay.
that'll be. Trevor, any final words? Anything you want to add to this?
Nada.
Any contribution to make to this thing, or are we just gonna call it right there?
We're gonna call it. It's a 0 from me.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Um,
We'll switch over to.
well, at least he's consistent.
Yeah, he is consistently Trevor.
School, I think. All right. This song's called Hound Dog. Put my eggs in your basket. Then I counted them up. Well, not one hatched, but our mix is matched. And I got attached, sure enough. Thick as thieves, dim as rum. I called you pal, and you called me chum. We always had a tune to hum, but you never asked me why I was so glum. You old hound dog, you old scoundrel. Just the sound of your old howl gives me goosebumps. And in a few months I'll be throwing in the towel. We had some laughs, but after that, the aftermath came again. All I can say is if you were made out of clay, I'd shape you into a better friend, you old varmint, causing harm, digging holes in the yard, in the garden, on the farm, disregarding the alarm. You old bastard, where have you been? Thought I'd never see you again. You old fool, Thank you. Thanks. Should we just call it at 1? Or, I mean, should we get another one in case that one didn't come out good?
I think it sounded really good.
Cool. I felt a little awkward about it. Can I just give you an alternate and then maybe we can decide?
Yeah.
Cool. That'd be great. I appreciate it. Also, this one's a little more. Well, we're recording this one now, so it's a little more like, this. When do you think this will be hitting the shelves? By the way.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay. So yeah, we'll be putting this one out probably in the next couple of months. So it might be more smart marketing or whatever.
Yeah, that's what we care about, man.
All right. Well, this one is called "I'm Your Fool." Maybe I'm a fool for loving you the way I do, but baby, I'm your fool. I'm your fool. I'm your fool. Lately, we've been spending time getting lost in each other's eyes, so maybe I'm a fool, but I'm your fool. Crazy how much time people spend living lives that they don't want to live. But why do you even exist? Maybe we could save some time, or even somebody's life, or maybe I'm a fool, but I'm your fool. I'm your fool. I'm your fool. Baby, tell the truth. Which life would you really choose? Games we play with hearts are never fun for anyone. Lately, I've been getting caught staring off with a wandering mind. So maybe I'm a fool, but I'm your fool. I'm your fool. I'm your fool. Thanks.
I love that song, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah, I think, yeah.
I love it with the full band. I love it when it's live.
Oh, that's so
It's loud.
sweet. I appreciate it. Oh, dude, the full band, I mean, we do the whole outro like twice as long, and Mike Stokes, our lead guitar player, is just shredding, and it's very, very fun.
That's gonna be satisfying.
Yeah, for sure.
Put both of those songs in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're into that, yeah, for sure, man. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me, Simon. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Trevor, as always, it's disappointing to see you.
Yeah, Trevor, any final words?
None.
Yeah, figured.
I'm just kidding. I do want to say Trevor's the best, and he made our music video for Asymmetrical, the song.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and he's just wonderful. He's got a beautiful mustache and a charming smile and personality.
Thank you, Ethan.
You're welcome, sir. I'm honored. Thank you.